Today we're taking a look at a new tiny box game from AllPlay, Panda Panda. What's up, Brew Crew? Welcome back to Beer City Board Games. I'm Clay, and this is Panda Panda, a set collection game from AllPlay for 2 to 4 players. The box says that the game lasts about 15 minutes, which might be a little low, but not by much. This is actually a re-implementation of a little Japanese card game called Cat Poker. Now, up front, I did not receive any monetary compensation for this review. However, AllPlay did provide me with this copy for review. First, let's head down to the table for a rules overview, and then we'll come back up and I'll give you my final thoughts. The goal of Panda Panda is to have a winning hand at the beginning of your turn. At the beginning of each round, shuffle all the Panda cards, and players will be dealt 5 cards each. The rest of the Panda cards will go in a face-down stack in the middle of the table. Each player will also get a player aid that will explain the different winning hands. This player aid is double-sided, and you'll begin the game on the side with a 0 at the top. Now, the rulebook does say that the last person to have seen a panda will be the first player, and it does say that pics or video count, so here, I'll show you this little guy. There. Now you're all first player. On your turn, you'll first check to see if you have a winning hand. Very unlikely at the beginning of the game, unless you happen to be very lucky. If you do not have a winning hand, then you have 2 options. The first option is to discard a card into a pile in front of yourself. If the card is a B through G, it's the end of your turn and play passes to the next person. If the card discarded was an A, then all the players, including the player who played the A card, must pass 1 card to the player on their left. After all the players have passed the card, then play continues. Your other option is to draw a card into your hand. That can either be the top face-down card from the stack in the center of the table, or you can take one of the top cards from any player's discard pile, including your own. The only exception here is that you can never draw an A card from a face-up pile. Any other card can be picked up, provided that it is the top card of the discard pile. Play will continue around and around the table this way until one player begins their turn with exactly one of these sets of cards in their hand. There are 2 7-card sets, 2 6-card sets, 1 5-card set, 1 4-card set, 1 3-card set, and 3 2-card sets that could potentially win the game, as shown on this player aid. Remember that if you have any other cards in your hand besides the ones listed for a specific set, then you do not have a winning hand. Once a player has a winning hand, they'll reveal it. The rulebook does insist that you shout Panda Panda, although I'm not sure how much playtesting that particular rule got, as it seems a little unbalanced and OP to me. I guess you should shout at your own risk. When you've won a hand, you'll flip your player aid over to the side with the 1 on the top. If a player ever wins their second hand, they've also won the game. And that's how you play Panda Panda. Now let's head back up top, and I'll let you know what I think. Starting off, let's talk about the production and artwork. Obviously, there's not a lot to the game here, but the cards are decent quality and easy to shuffle, easy to deal, and the artwork on the cover and the cards is very cute and colorful. Honestly, I don't know that I've ever had any production issues with anything from AllPlay, so I was not too concerned, but figured I'd mention it. I was first introduced to Panda Panda at Origins this year, although I did not actually get a chance to play the game there, but I got a quick elevator pitch and I remembered thinking that it sounded pretty fun. But I wasn't sure if it was one that we'd end up enjoying or that it would hold up to multiple plays. Well, I got a chance to actually play the game at Gen Con, and we played it again and again and a few more times. And I've got to say that if you're looking for a very portable, easy to teach set collection game, Panda Panda is a great option. We've played some other card games recently that, while very good games, take up way too much table space for them to really be considered travel-friendly games. Xylotar comes to mind. In Panda Panda, you'll have one small stack of cards in the center, and each player will need room for a discard pile in front of themselves. That's it. We've actually had a chance to play several of these tiny box games from AllPlay at this point, and they've definitely hit their mark on making small games that can be played anywhere. But portability is kind of pointless if the game is no fun, right? Well, I can confidently say that we had a load of fun playing this one at Gen Con and at game nights after the convention. I love that you have plenty of different options for the sets that you can try to collect, but trying to get exactly those cards in your hand can be very challenging. In our plays, it seemed like most of the players at least came close to completing one of the sets, which means that it's very satisfying to play, and it keeps you wanting to try again. And because, generally speaking, the rounds are over pretty quickly, the game goes by pretty fast, making it a really solid filler option as well. Now, I do say that it plays quick, and that has been true for almost all of the plays that we've had of Panda Panda, but I will say that we had one particular 4-player game that lasted for quite a while, significantly longer than I would want a play of this game to last. Basically, because of the hand of cards that everyone was dealt at the very beginning, we all started trying to go for similar large sets. This meant that there were very few cards being laid down on the table, and a lot of the ones that were being laid down were A cards, which can't be picked up. And when we passed cards, we all ended up passing around the same few cards over and over again, hoping for the right one to eventually come around. And once we realized what was going on, some of us did try to pivot our strategy, but that can be easier said than done when you're working with a very limited pool of cards. Now, that only happened once out of the dozens of games that we've played, but I think it's worth noting that it is something that could potentially happen. And I will say that even though the game went longer than we'd want it to, we still had a lot of fun playing it, and it created a pretty exciting moment when somebody finally laid down a winning set. So, there you have it. Panda Panda. It's a cute, incredibly satisfying set collection game that will likely become one of our go-to travel games. If you're looking for something crunchy or brain-burny, it may not be for you. But if you like games like Abandon All Artichokes, Sushi Go, or Trio, then I would recommend giving Panda Panda a try. And until next time, let's get another round for the table.